All right, guys, welcome to the new property show. This one could get heated. Okay, so it's always a good start. So wholesale versus retail. And what we're talking about here is builds, okay? What the difference is between a retail and a wholesale build. And obviously there's owner occupiers and investors. But who wants to open up and sort of tell us their interpretation of the difference between a retail build and a wholesale build? And I think, Lucky, you're off.
Thanks, Steve, to give me a chance to start this conversation. What I think, like for the retail, and there are lots of design and lots of custom things and different color scheme, whatever you want, you can design that. But in wholesaler, it's like, as I said, it's like a sausage roll. All the sausages are the same. There are not much option. There's no, you can't differentiate. It looks like all the same houses. So, but it's good for the like investment purpose. But if someone want to live in the house, they want their own theme in the house, like a color scheme, stone scheme, and bedrooms and location, windows. So lots of things are matter. So, but in retail you can do that, but in wholesale there's very less options. That's what I think. And
Bo, over to you. So you're in the wholesale space.
Yeah, I'd probably say just depends on what you want to get out of it. So for me, I only work with investors, and I think with investors it's more about if you are going to spend money, are you actually going to get a rental return for that? Are you actually going to get a better valuation for that? So I think that, when you're adding optional extras, you don't want to be spending extra money, especially as an investor that should be guided by the numbers and the data and the statistics. You should only be spending money on what you're going to essentially get a return from. So in that situation, I would say that for an investor, an all-inclusive package that includes the driveways, floors, landscaping, developer guidelines, a fixed price cost without any variation, even if rocks hit. I think that all of these sorts of things are going to be really good for an investor that just wants to know exactly what they're going to get, and they can see what the outcome's going to be, rather than, doing optional upgrades as an investor when they might not be getting the money back. So I think maybe for an owner-occupier, absolutely might be a good thing to have a custom or a retail. For me, I like investors to essentially just focus on the numbers and go.
I think it can get a bit dangerous. I've seen when I was selling retail, people that would spend $200,000 on a house, then they spend $200,000 in the extras. When they could have bought overcapitalising. When they could have bought a $300,000 house, little bit, few extras, and had a substantially big house, like having a Mini with a V8, and it's just not going to go. You're just not going to get the whole family in there. Now you're out on site a little bit.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on, as I said, over customising places versus just keeping it simple?
Well, from my point of view, when we deal mostly with owner-occupiers, so not too many investors. But for the owner-occupiers, like my point of view is it's your home. You've got to live in it. And I say to people all the time, like, if you want to paint it pink, paint it pink. Like, it's your house. You've got to enjoy it. You've got to live it. I've had clients that you could argue they have overcapitalised on it, but they're going to live in it and they're going to enjoy it. So I think it also comes, from my point of view, it comes down to, how much do you want to enjoy that house? If you're going to be there for 20 years, you're better off spending the money to get it the way you want it, rather than, getting a cookie cutter thing, saving a few bucks. I think it really depends. I don't deal with the investor side of things. I've seen a few of them, but, I don't deal with that. I deal with the owner-occupier, and I think, if you're going to live in it, you've got to really enjoy it.
What about you, Manesh?
I guess, again, as Bo mentioned, it depends on the purpose. People are trying to buy something as well, but as a customer or also as a consultant, I think peace of mind is also a very important thing with the wholesale channels, or that is, and the banks also like a fixed price contract. As a customer also, I know this is the price I'm going to pay. I'm not going to have to chase the tradesman for 2-3 months to get my fencing done, my landscaping done, and things like that. So all those things also we have to keep in mind before we making a selection. So if I want to limit my budget to, and I need to know upfront what is going to be my actual cost, and I include those extra 30 to 40,000 into my building contract rather than having to use my savings later on when the house is finished. So that's sort of something tips in the favor of a wholesale channel builder or things like that. that. Plus, again, of course, you have to, like Bo also mentioned, like we have to stick to what we want. If we are an investor, we want capital growth, we want rental return, and we want the tax depreciation. That's the whole
I
purpose
think
of the house.
custom can work, but you've got to look at you really got to look at what those hidden costs are. So the challenge that I have with custom is that, and depending on the consultant that you deal with, and that's why obviously why you help out, but there's things that are excluded. So typically I've heard of houses without driveways, landscaping, fences, blinds, curtains, that sort of stuff, air conditioning. Now some of those items can be $30,000, and your customer's left with that, with an unfinished house, and there's nothing worse than driving past a brand new home that has newspaper, and I've seen it on the windows.
Yep.
So it can be fraught with a little bit of danger. Yes.
No, I don't think so, because in the retail as well, like as you know, what's my job is. So I give my clients a fixed price contract, and if they want turnkey as well, so I look after them in that way as well. So I give them a turnkey price, fixed price with all the upgrades and what they want, and I design that way so they can get a custom home with a fixed price contract and turnkey finish.
Not a bad bit of rebuttal there. That's actually not too bad, Lucky, which is good.